Bismillah, brothers and sisters. Continue from where I stopped. That I said I'm going to bring out some message, some imprinting message of Jesus Christ in those regions. Either before Christianity, before Islam. Because my main aim as a Muslim is to say that Jesus Christ existed. Because if I disbelieve in the personality of Jesus Christ, I'm not a Muslim. Now we look at some of the regions of old. Hinduism, for example. Hinduism originated from Indian, Hindustani. They believe in gods, pantheons of gods, and they believe in reincarnations of gods. That a Krishna, the major god, because they have their Krishna, the Vishnu, and the Shiva, the triune gods to them. Their opinion saying that the reincarnation of Vishnu was Jesus. This is a belief. It is found in some of their books. That's why when Jesus Christ existed and in that era, the contemporary time of Jesus Christ, some scholars at that time, who were Indian, they called them the Brahmas, they refer Jesus Christ as the Buddha, as the what? As the Acharya. Acharya simply means a teacher, a great teacher of principle, and also referring to the avatar. Avatar means someone who is reincarnated, and the reincarnation is from Vishnu, their belief, the god of maintenance, because they have three main triune gods. Others are demigods. And the three main triune gods to them, one the Krishna, the highest, followed by Vishnu, followed by Shiva. Vishnu is the god of maintenance, Shiva is the god of destruction. Now, the reincarnation, they said over 300 reincarnations. Sometimes they said 200 in some narrations, found in their books. Some said 300, some said 200. That was why when they reported that himself, they come to the 200 reincarnations, that Jesus Christ came who as the reincarnation of Vishnu. And he was a good teacher, the Acharya, and also was the avatar. This is how they regard Jesus Christ as. But there was no unequivocal evidence that Jesus was one of them among the disciples, the heritage of the Hindus. But yeah, they believe that he existed, and they believe he has a remarkable personality in the eyes of the Indians, eyes of the Hindus, and they revere him for that. Now we go to Buddhism. Buddhism was originated in India as well, who from the man called Siddhartha Gautama. In his era, he did not speak. He was saying came as an enlightened one called the Buddha. But some of his servants before then, in time of Dalai Lama, and many of them, they wrote about him that is called Buddha Sattviya. Buddha Sattviya, they refer to be Jesus, the awakened one, the one that came with the spirit of kindness, goodness, and love. So himself and the man of peace. That's how they refer him to us. So this is the religion of the Buddhism. When we go to Sikhism, the same thing applied. They said he is not the main god, but rather he is a one with divinity, but not as that of the main god. Because he said, according to Sikhism, he said, yes, God is one, but he came with some part of divinity. But due to the fact he performed some miracles, he did some signs, so he existed. Same way, let's look at the African region that this great African region scholar talked about, saying that Jesus Christ never existed in the region. Now, every tribe, if a region comes in a particular community, the region becomes a traditional region in that community. Islam originated from Saudi, from Arabian, there is called the Hijaz, the Arab. So it is called a traditional region in Arab. So the Arabian will refer Islam as their traditional religion, called the Arabic traditional religion. So a region like Buddhism, who came from India, the Indians recommend, or they would say they refer Buddhism as a traditional religion. Some would as Hindu. So African has no basis of a sage or a one who came with a message to say he originated African religion. African is a widespread religion or a belief system that it started from Egypt, which they believe it was Horus. Now it came down to some other northern part of Africa. Then it came to Nigeria. Nigeria has its own heritage. That was why in Ghana has some heritage. That was why some scholars like Kwame Badiako. Kwame Badiako, who originated his idea from the two sons of Magezi. Those are traditional religious leaders. They wrote I refer as the ATR, African traditional rulers. Those people, they are the one who formulated these African regions. But they saw the basis according to Desmond Tutu, and also like according to a famous religious traditional religious scholar who is known by the name of the Badiako, Al-Bedia, and many of them. They said that we have been losing some of our basis of our traditional belief. So we have no standpoint, not to bring religion back, to revive it back. But they wanted to revive the traditional religion back because they were seeing that they were phasing out. So they were looking for some personalities, some figures from other regions to incorporate it into their own region. So they decided to bring Jesus Christ to incorporate into their own region. That's why when they wrote about him in their books, they said Jesus existed as they mentioned a king and as a mighty man, which the Bible talks about it, because you see that they are trying to bring, because when you want to revive something, you bring something from outside as a foreign person to rebuild your religion. So this is why they want to revamp it, revitalize it. So this is what they do. So those scholars, if he had gone to look at those scholars as a traditional person, I would beg him to look at the books of all those scholars to see what they say about Jesus Christ. They see that he existed. But what the name actually Jesus is not it's an English name coined from the Hebrew name. Because the Hebrew name Jesus developed as an Aramaic because he spoke the language of Aramaic. And the Aramaic language of Jesus called Yeshua. Yeshua is Hebrew in origin. So he bore Yeshua. It was when an English people decided to translate the Bible from the Hebrew and Greek to English, they decided to use the word Jesus to refer to him. The Bible tells us in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, for example, that when Isaiah was prophesying about the coming of Jesus Christ, he says that God said in heaven, when he said that there shall come unto you, the Lord said himself, there shall come unto you a sign that a virgin shall give birth to a child. This name we call Emmanuel. In another verse in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, it said that a child is born unto us, so a son is given unto us, that he will be called Wonderful Counselor, he will be called a Prince of Peace, and will call a Mighty God. This is the language. Now, this is a foretold evidence of Jesus Christ coming to the earth. Now, this was repeated when he came back. The people of the Jews realized it from that scripture. When they said in the book of Matthew, chapter 1, go to the book of Matthew, brothers, chapter 1, verse 21 to 24. That when he says that Mary conceived a child when she was a virgin, then he gave birth to the child, and he was called uh, name was called Emmanuel. Emmanuel said in the Bible. So this is exactly how it was said. So, brothers and sisters, there is a greater evidence that Jesus Christ existed. That is why Islam also said about him, Isa alayhi salam. So there's no doubt that he existed. He existed. So, me brothers and sisters, anyone who says Jesus Christ existed is no longer a believer. Brothers, I end it with that. Please, I want to share this for the brothers and sisters who are not aware to be aware of the life of Jesus Christ. And I have more episodes to speak about this. Thank you, brothers and sisters.